Great.
All right, welcome to Joey's Couch. Is that where we are right now?
Joey's Couch.
Joey's Couch. And we are going to be doing another Critique the Community, this time right up your alley with swimwear.
Okay, let's do it. I'm ready.
Are you familiar with our rating system?
We
do a 1 through 5. So 1 is a snapshot, which means anybody with a camera could have taken it.
Okay.
A 2 is an image that needs work before it hits your portfolio. 3 is solid enough to be in your portfolio.
Okay.
4 is an incredible image.
Okay.
And then 5 is world class. It's really can't be beat. It's going to be an image that you will remember years from now.
It's just iconic, right?
Most images probably fall in the 2 to 3 category.
Okay.
Very few fall in the 5 category. That's not to say we
I don't even know if I have any in the 5 category.
I surely don't have any 5.
Yeah, so so I don't sound too harsh. I just want everybody to know that I'm also my own worst critic, but I am very picky. So I would say, you know, it's like my Instagram photos are probably 3s and some 4s, and my portfolio are hopefully 4s, and maybe someday I'll get that 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to set the next critique, and I will let you come up with the next genre or the next theme. It can be very broad. You could say blue, or it could be as specific as, you know, street photography.
Okay.
Is there anything you would like to see us critique next week?
Yeah, how about the theme is wet?
Wet.
Well, I initially was thinking of shots in the rain, but then it could also be shots in water. Is that too close to what we're doing today?
I like this theme. So it could be any interpretation of wet. So if you want to do a landscape, if you want to do a fashion shoot,
right. If
you want to do some kind of, I'm not going to say anymore. Anything that inspires you to post a picture that is wet, go to the description below. You can upload all of your pictures, and then next week we will critique those. As always, this is the highest rated image in this entire critique from the community. And the highest rated image wins a free tutorial from our store at fstoppers.com/store.
Okay.
If you want, you can get Joey's tutorial. If you want something different, we
it's
have
there.
A bunch of tutorials there. Yeah, so this is the highest rated image in this entire critique. Although it may not be the highest rated between you and I. Many times.
Okay, but this did win the tutorial.
This won the tutorial.
Well, congratulations
and our community has rated this the highest.
The shooter of this image. Okay, ready?
Yeah, are you ready?
Yep, let's.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Okay,
3,
so we're on the same page here.
Yeah, we both agree.
Yep.
You know, 3, it's a pretty solid image for a critique, you know, although I would have hoped that the highest rated image in this critique would have been a 4, but.
I agree. By the way, these images, are they, oh, here's Ella. Hey, come on, Ella. Ella wants in on this.
She wants to be a part of this critique?
Yeah, she actually has 6 toes, so she can go up to a 6.
Yeah, she's on a different rating system.
Yeah, actually, Ella, you cannot critique because you don't have the same system as us. Okay, well, I'll tell you what I like. I think this is this really nice, clean shot. You know, it's got this very sort of perfect composition. I love the expression on the model. It looks natural, even though it was clearly set up. Right, so it doesn't look too staged overall, but obviously it was well thought out, right? So it's way beyond a snapshot. I think if there were anything that I was going to critique at all, it would probably be well, you know, I was going to say the lipstick is a little much, but it kind of pops. I think that red is just this nice little pop of warmth within an overall very cool image. So I'll take that back. I was going to say it doesn't seem super fitting for a woman laying in a pool.
Right.
But it's a fun shot, so you know I think that's just kind of going a little fun with the creative, you know, the creativity in regard to, you know, makeup. So. Yeah.
Do you wish you could see her face a little bit more, or do you like the candid nature of her looking off to the side?
I would imagine that the photographer probably shot a handful of shots where she was looking at the camera, looked off to the side, and decided that this one worked. And I think so too. Maybe it would have been a little overly contrived looking if she were not only kind of in this perfect little pose with this perfect composition, but then also looking at the camera. Maybe it would have been too much. Somebody's going to probably say, oh, her legs look amputated, and that would be only a photographer comment, to be honest.
Right.
And I'm going to be careful to try to not critique on the the things that only photographers see, such as that, because I don't think those things are that important. There's sort of certain rules that were established by photographers that are only noticed by photographers, and I don't get caught up in all that.
Speaking of that,
yeah,
you're an expert at posing. What is your perception of the boobs here? My eye keeps going to it, and I don't know if it's the angle or the swimsuit or the fact that she's laying on her back, but...
Or maybe you just haven't been around a woman in a while.
Yeah, maybe.
Did you just get out of prison?
Yeah, no. I mean, I've been here working with you for the last couple hours.
It's about the same thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's why your eyes are going there. I don't know. It doesn't bother me. I think it's kind of sexy, but it's okay. It's not. This image is not meant to be overly sexy. Yet there is some sex appeal to it because there's sort of this side boob thing going on, but it's still a full coverage one piece. And she's not acting all super sexy in expression. So it's sort of, I think it's well balanced in that regard. It's not overly anything.
I love the little extra water on top, you know, on her chest.
Like, yeah, I could see some people might have photoshopped that out or done something. I just like it. I lean a little more toward like leave it.
And I also like the knee coming out of the water. I think that's a nice little touch.
Yeah, and also that little ripple around her knee, it shows movement. Like, so if I have a model in the water, I actually tell them, you know, if they're like standing in the water, if they just stand there and pose and freeze and the water's still around them, like it registers as no movement. So I'll even tell them like, hey, as you're posing, kind of just move your legs and just sort of swish around a little bit, and it'll create these ripples, and then that could look like you were walking or there was actually some action there. So I appreciate that there's a little action in suggested movement. I mean, well, I'm sure she was obviously moving, but again, that he captured that, and therefore, you know, we kind of get to see that, and it doesn't get too stiff. If she maybe didn't move that knee and create the little ripple, it would have no action to the photo at all. So I like that.
Well, the community gives this a 3.28.
Yeah, I'm with that. That's, I think, a perfect score.
All right, so you need to pick a number between 2 and 20 for the lucky winner of another tutorial.
Okay.
What number are you going to go with?
Okay.
You don't have to think about this too hard. Just spit out the first number you think of.
12.
12. Number 12. So when we get to 12, you too will win a tutorial. So next image.
You're welcome, number 12. Next image. This is Alexa Collins. I recognize the model because was this shot at my workshop? No, it wasn't. But this...
Now, you know this girl.
I do know this model. Yeah.
I was thinking she looked kind of like the model in Charleston that you introduced us to.
No, different model.
Similar features, but...
Yeah. But this, Alexa is local to here, and she was one of the models at my last workshop in Miami.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is in Miami?
Yeah, this clearly looks like, yep, Miami, or maybe even Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, no, this is Miami.
Are
yeah,
you
I can tell
ready
the little ropes
to
there.
rate to this?
Yes, let's go ahead and rate this one.
All right. 3, 2, 1, 2.
2s. Okay, so
Let
double
me
deuces.
say what bothers me first, because I'm sure you see a lot more than me since you do this full time.
Yeah.
Obviously the crop. You've cut off her feet.
That's
You've put her
one.
in a weird position.
It's a little sloppy in that regard, I think.
I also feel like... I mean, she's obviously a gorgeous model. I love the styling. I feel like this background, it's just like, it's not the prettiest beach, and I know you're trying to do something to put some color in there. I don't know if a longer lens would help bring the background closer, but I don't like that you can see the like tracks of the cars and stuff on the beach.
To me, it's just it's a lot of sand. It's a lot of negative space. It looks a little boring, to be honest. That there's so much of it. I would say honestly, if this photo would be more effective if it was cropped like this.
Yes.
Does this show if I hold it up?
We do the crops in the video
so you
too.
Can do
so
that.
You're just turning a horizontal into a vertical.
I just went to a vertical shot instead of the horizontal crop that they did, and yeah, it's why show all that sand? I get that there's depth to it. I would have even liked to see her maybe posed up closer to the edge of that grass. Then you could have had a little, I don't know, a little mixture of what's going on in the background, but maybe some more stuff in focus than just her and some of that sand. I don't know. It's a little lifeless or something. It just kind of has, I don't know, it doesn't excite me.
How many images in your portfolio do you use where the model's eyes are closed? Is that a deal breaker for you?
No, I don't think it's a deal breaker. Like if someone was laughing and like really like, just giving it like a strong laugh. When you tilt your head back, and especially if the sun's above you, it's normal to have the eyes closed. In fact, a lot of times if I'm shooting outside during the day or it's like that overhead sunlight, I'll tell the models like, head back, eyes closed, mouth open, like it looks like you're just kind of like basking in the sun, kind of. So that doesn't bother me. And yeah, she's laughing in the middle of nowhere, but maybe that's also what's there's sort of no context to this shot. She's kind of just sitting by herself, but she's cracking up like she's a lunatic, like laughing at the voices in her head. I get it though. That's why I said if this was more focus on her, less of this wide shot, all this negative space is almost unnecessary. And then this is clearly like a sort of an overcast setting. There's not a lot of color. I think this in post, this could have been more saturated because I like when she's got this bright, fun suit on, she's laughing. So her expression is about kind of having fun and everything is fun. But then the colors are just sort of like
flat.
Yeah, it's just flat and like kind of a drag. So I think bumping up the saturation would have been a nice move and putting more focus on her, getting rid of some of this unnecessary negative space that doesn't really tell a story and it doesn't show off some beautiful part in the environment.
Well, the community gives this a 2.24.
Okay, I think we're good. I feel good that we're in line with the community. Sort of all
So we
agreed.
have now moved into the studio.
Okay.
You shoot in the studio every now and then. Do you do a lot of stuff with colors like this, or is it more?
I do.
Is it more just on the white?
Well, so I do e-com shoots in studio from time to time, and sometimes we do color. It just depends on what the client wants, and I'd say half and half between just doing white and doing a little color, like maybe like eggshell or like these sort of just subtle kind of off-white colors are sort of popular now with e-com images, which are the ones that you'll see on websites for clothing
Each
lines,
item.
right? Yeah, every item has the front and back shot, maybe a side. So I'm kind of looking at this. I don't know what the intention was, but as an e-com image, which tend to be a little boring in general,
right?
Like I would put this in the e-com category.
But this might be more of the featured image that they have at the front of their website that then leads you to the more general shots. I'm
going to rate this as a portfolio image, not as an e-com image.
Yeah,
right?
I think you should just, all of these ratings are, does this belong on your website?
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yep.
All right. 3, 2, 1. I'm between a 2 and a 3. Maybe I'm giving this a higher rating because I think this might be a little different from what we're about to see. So I guess there's two ways we can look at this because you shoot both. Some of your images are shot to sell the swimwear, the clothing, and then other images are shot for the model to help her portfolio so that she can have a greater career. I don't know that this is great for the swimsuit. I don't know that you really see a lot of the swimsuit, and you can tell this swimsuit has a lot of unique designs to it. But at the same time, I don't know that this is the most flattering image for the model. But I guess for me, because it's on the seamless and they've played with the color and it looks like they have a high quality model, I guess I want to believe that there's like a shot a little bit better than this from the session, but I like this enough to where I would say this might belong in your portfolio, but maybe you would change it out quicker. Like sooner than later, you would replace this.
Okay. Here are my thoughts. It's fine for an e-commerce image. Like for a job, shooting e-com, this would pass as a side shot, but here's the other thing. I shoot e-com all the time. I don't put any of those in my portfolio because they're kind of boring images.
Yeah.
That's my thing. This would be great if this was shot for e-commerce. If I was submitting an image for a critique, I wouldn't submit an e-com image because I would expect the critique to be, all right, it's just a model on a background. Now, if I were shooting in studio, not for e-com, for fun or just to be creative, then here's my thing with shooting on just sort of plain backdrops. Either make it, make the pose interesting enough that it holds its weight and value in the pose and the model alone that you don't care that there's nothing else. In fact, that the model is so striking and the pose is, or maybe the pose is so cool or unique, or it's just this really strong pose that that you actually use this sort of void of a background as a way to just keep the focus just on the model. Now, I don't think that this pose is super exciting. It's relaxed, and again, that's why I said this would be a great e-com image. I could see this on a website for any brand, but in a portfolio, no, I wouldn't really see it.
Now, you shoot a lot of e-com, but if you go to your website, you don't have any images
No,
on
I don't
there.
show any of those.
Do you feel like, as a swimwear photographer, you need these type of images to persuade clients that you can do it?
If I was trying to get more e-com work, I would create some kind of little pitch page on my site that has to do with my e-com rates and whatnot, and then showing some samples from different e-com shoots. So I don't think that would be a bad idea if I wanted more of that work. I don't personally go after it. I do e-commerce, you know, every month or two, and I have a sort of handful of clients. It's not my favorite stuff because it is kind of boring. I don't think I'd want to shoot more than that.
Yeah.
And there are some people that specialize completely in e-com and they love it. And that's cool. If you got a system, in fact, if I did that, I'd probably be having somebody else shoot it for me. You know, if I were to try to run an e-com business as some big chunk of my work, because I just find it to be quite boring.
Set up lighting and have it just a standardized process.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so I don't think it's not a bad image, but it's not exciting. And you know, would I put it in a portfolio? No. And then again, that goes even to my e-com images. I wouldn't put them in my portfolio. So that's why I gave it a 2. I just say it's.
Well, the community gives it a little higher, 2.97. So I think somewhere between 2. You know, it's up for debate. Now this looks a little bit like the girl we just shot. And I don't know that this is, we just did a tutorial with you yesterday. You'll find out more about that soon. Yeah. But this location, is this in Miami? Do you guys have lifeguard stands like this?
I don't recognize this lifeguard stand. I don't think this is in Miami. I'm not sure where this is. But that's kind of a cool part about it, is that you don't know exactly where it is. You know it's at the beach. So there's plenty of context in the location. You know, I guess a blind man could tell that it was at the beach, but
unless it's some kind of specific set.
That is true.
Was built in Hollywood.
Exactly. So they fooled me. So wait, do we give our rating?
We have not yet. Are you ready?
Hold on, no, I'm not ready. Okay, let's go ahead.
3, 2, 1, 3.
Yeah, I gave it a 3.
I like that this photographer shot in hard light because we did some of that yesterday. And I think a lot of swimwear photographers probably play it safe. Yeah. Maybe not swimwear photographers, but those people that are kind of aspiring to do swimwear.
Probably most people in general that go out and shoot natural light.
I know I certainly do. If I go out there, right,
you know,
I definitely feel like using hard sunlight is a little scarier than it's not as safe. Yeah. But I love that this has the hard light look to it, and I love the saturation and the colors. Using the center of this station looks really cool.
Now, I hate to be a stickler for colors because, you know, it might look a little different on your iPad than mine, than on the computer screen that somebody's looking at it on. For me, I think the colors look a little dull. Like the yellow is a little washed out. The red is like almost like an orangey red, but it's not like vibrant. The sky is. So the sky is vibrant blue and everything else is a little washed out. And that's what was in front of them. I think in post, I would have liked to have seen the reds and the yellows pulled out a little more.
You want them to be more contrasty and punchy.
Well, more saturated, right. Yeah. And there to be a little more overall contrast. I think this could have been even underexposed a little more or drop down the exposure in post a little bit as well to create a little more contrast. I don't know. I think that the color, like I would have given it a high 2 just to say that, just punch it up a little bit in post. And I think it, like even what she's holding, it's like it's almost faded out, and that's because she had a faded old buoy or whatever you call those. What is that called?
Like a life preserver?
Yeah, but that's the donut.
Oh, that's the donut. Preserver. Okay.
This is the Baywatch one.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's the Baywatch buoy. So
and you don't think it's just a post-production style? You know, sometimes this matted, softer color look is.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I guess because you have these such nice, fun, bright colors within this, but there's some of them. Like I said, the sky is is pretty vibrant, but then and like the top of the roof is, and then you have this dull. I don't know. I think I would have liked to have seen some of the colors just played with a little more.
Yeah, I don't know if that bothers me as much. I feel like
Yeah.
it almost has a retro feel. Like this could have been from the late 80s or something, and it's an aged look. Or sometimes you see these images
that's
printed
a very
on that
personal
real
preference.
You see images printed on that like real matte paper that they might have the brochures at the stores.
Yeah. Well, overall though, yeah, I think this is a nice, fun image. It was well thought out. Like as far as the composition, her pose looks good. There's nothing unflattering about her. Her face, up toward the sun is nice. It's creates flattering light out of that
Right.
midday sun. So I think that was
Yeah, you
all.
can see the shadows on her neck. How difficult. Like this could have turned into a disaster.
Yeah, if she kind of dipped her chin down, it would have
Right.
just been shadows all over the place. Not very flattering for a model, and that's the first place people look in the photo is they're going to look at her face, her eyes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Community gives this one a 2.88.
There you go. So did I say a high 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right on the money.
Okay. I'm ready for this one.
Ready for this one. All right. 1, 2, 3. I feel like there is a lot going on in this photo that I love. There's something about the toning.
Yeah, I love the color work on this photo.
I love her swimsuit. I don't know if I love her pose, but it's close. Like the simple nature of this.
Yeah.
In the shot. Like I like a lot of what's going on here. I just feel like maybe there's a little bit too much dead space in the left. And then like I look at her wrist and I'm like, man, it almost looks like her wrist.
The pose looks uncomfortable.
It looks uncomfortable. It looks a little too over the top. But sometimes poses by nature are a little over the top.
Yeah. So I kind of wish the photographer just moved a little to their left and showed more of, I love this wall back there with the palm leaf shadows. I'm glad that they caught it. Obviously that was intentional. So good job on keeping that in the shot. I would have rather seen more of that and less of the sort of boring wall that had no sun on it, no interesting shadows. It's just a bunch of repeating lines. So perspective-wise, I feel like there may have, I don't know, I could be wrong. There could be just to the right of what we're seeing. There
Trash can or something.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I think maybe having a little more focus on that from what shots were taken in the set. And then the pose looks uncomfortable. Her arm is completely missing. So she's got this like nub arm kind of, which I talked earlier about how there are certain things that photographers might say as rules like, oh, show a complete model or, have all. I don't think that's always a deal breaker, but just in this case, because the way she's twisting, it looks uncomfortable and sort of what's the purpose of the pose? Is it to show off the suit? Because in that case, it kind of does it, but then her leg crosses over and hides the bottom of it. So, maybe if you were shooting it for a campaign, you can kind of do these more extreme poses and not be about like showing something very natural or telling some story. I get that. That's not for every shot. But it's, I don't know. Even like her mouth sealed, it conveys a little tension, right? So she doesn't look relaxed even in the face, and the expression looks a little tight. And then you have this pose that looks uncomfortable because her wrist is sort of breaking, and then her other arm is stretching to, way back there behind her. It's just I don't know, but I love the lighting on her is
the lighting's
perfect.
really cool.
I love the angle that the photographer has the model at, where it does skim the light across her stomach because she's got a great stomach. I think the post work was done nice. You can tell it's been worked on, but it's not over the top. It doesn't scream Photoshop. There's the right amount of imperfection left in the photo. So I think to me it's just the pose. So I think there's maybe a better shot that could have been picked in there, or just having played, worked a little more through to just get something that kind of ties it all together, and then maybe show more of that other piece of the other wall.
Totally agree. A community says 2.83.
Okay. I think this photo is from my workshop.
Really? Is that now 2?
Well, one of the models was from the workshop, but the photo was not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think. But this one was definitely from the workshop because I think I styled that swimsuit.
Yeah, that swimsuit.
And that's Katie.
Joey likes to style a lot of his models, and he knows more about swimwear than than any man probably should.
Most of the models, yeah. No, okay, I'm ready to.
All right, I think I'm ready too. 3, 2, 1. You're going 3?
Yeah, I'm going 3 on this one.
I don't like all of the headspace up here. I feel like you could do a simple crop and get rid of a lot of that sky. I also don't like, I don't know what you guys have down here, but in Puerto Rico we have all this sargassum. It's like this algae that washes up on the shore. So I feel like just by cropping it a little bit, you could solve both of those problems, get rid of the algae and get rid of the top. I don't know, I've seen a lot of horizon lines in your photos kind of go crazy. I don't know if that obviously doesn't bother you, but in this case, I feel like I just want it straightened out a little bit.
Okay.
But other than that, though, I mean, I do like the expression. I feel like she looks really natural.
Yeah.
She's obviously a pretty girl. I don't know if it's showing the swimsuit off. I don't know if this is more for the model or more for the swimwear, but I feel like the tones in the black and white are really nice.
Okay, my critique is first and foremost, I love the capture of the moment. It's not posed. This is definitely her moving. This is a nice just grab, and it's with that, with knowing right off the bat by looking at her, because she's the first thing I'm going to look at, and anybody's going to look at in the photo. There's movement. You know, you can tell she's moving. You can tell it's not stopped and posed, and I think the tilted horizon adds to that. It sort of also implies movement. So not just the movement from her, but the movement from the photographer, the person capturing it, you know, without it being perfect, like it was on a tripod or like, you know, okay, ready. Yeah. And so I like a little tilt on the horizon to show a little in the moment from the capturer. So I think that actually adds to it. I think it would get a little stiff and start to dull the image if everything got perfect.
Would you go further and say you'd want a little more tilt?
No, I think it's just the right amount, because there's not a ton of movement, and you know, and it's just, I think it's well balanced. I think it's not enough to be annoying to look at, you know, or feel like you got to turn your screen or something. I think it's just a little off to just show that this is like not a super staged shot or image, and I like that. So I like that part of it.
In terms of the crop, if this was going to be displayed on your portfolio on your website, would you tighten it a bit, or do you like the room to breathe?
Okay, so that's something I'm not too worried about, because, say for me, sometimes I like a little breathing room. Sometimes, so let's say when I'm maybe curating my portfolio on my website or my Instagram feed, I don't want 5 shots in a row to be a 3/4 shot. I don't want 5 shots in a row to be a full-length shot where it's, you know, from you know, it's a tight.
Head to
I
toe,
like
and,
that some shots are wide, some shots are a little tighter, some shots are really close, some shots are here. So I'm not going to judge that part of it, because it doesn't bother me. It doesn't. If like the other photo, it was just a bunch of sand in the negative space that seemed unnecessary. Here, you know, it's not too much of one thing. You've got the sand in the foreground, which I think has a lot of cool little like ripple in the outgoing wave, and then you've got the ripples in the ocean. I mean, just the whole photo has a little life to it, a little movement. And
I guess I'm just saying, if I had to take this one photo and put it in my portfolio, I would probably just tighten it up a little bit. I normally wouldn't have people looking out of the frame, but in this example, I kind of like it. It still leaves room for text. It leaves room to where you feel like this could, you know, be used for an editorial spread or something. Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of the seaweed in the frame. Maybe.
I don't mind it, because the photographer went sort of on the not so perfect route, which I like. I appreciate that. Not everything looks. That every time you're going to take a model out, you got to have them posed, and hey, stay right there. Okay, pose at the camera and do that, and everything just starts to look so fake and forced.
Yeah, and it's a little lifeless.
This kind of goes the opposite way, because it's not really the most exciting scene. There's not like, you know, really interesting clouds in the sky. The background is sort of an afterthought. So it just, in the black and white, it just gives me this. What's the word I'm looking for?
Classic, like this, or timeless?
Yeah, it's like almost like this photojournalistic look to the photo, where what's going on around her, it's not important. It wasn't a huge part of the thought process. It's just getting her in her environment, but it still shows the environment. So I don't know. I think if you cropped in much tighter, you would sort of lose the idea of, you know, maybe her sort of in this movement might look a little sloppy if it was just her, but by showing that she's sort of just strolling down this long open beach, she's far from the city. I don't know. There's something that I like that it's almost like the void works a little bit, but yeah. So I say a 3 on this one.
Well, the community says 2.66, so they're kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
They round up to a 3. And I have to say, and everyone complains about this, a lot of times in these critiques, the community is a little harsher because I think a lot of people rate other people's photos lower, trying to win the tutorials. But it's kind of hard to come up with a system that takes that into account. Next image.
All right.
Now this is the first shot, I think, outdoors that is lit with strobe light. I think everything's been natural so far.
Yeah.
It's a cool location.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'm ready on this one.
I'm ready as well. You ready? 3, 2, 1.
I'm gonna give this one a 4.
I'm on a high 3.
I would say a high 3 if I was being very specific, but I would round up to a 4. Yeah.
What is really standing out to you in this photo?
I think this is a strong image for a lot of reasons. One, the model is striking. Beautiful model. And that's important. I know some people might say, well,
of course,
this is a photography critique. Getting a good model in front of your lens is a hard part of the process.
Would you go as far as saying that's half the process, half the battle?
I mean, it can take years to build a portfolio that entices a great model to trust getting in front of your lens.
Right.
So maybe because through personal experience, I know that it took a while to, you know, get any models in front of my lens and then get better models and better models. I can appreciate that. So that to me is a part of the battle, you know?
Yep.
I love the capture of the, so this, look, you can tell that this is not an easy image to make necessarily because one, to get out to a location like this it can be tricky. You know, to have a model kneeling on rocks like that and them still look as relaxed as she does.
Right.
That's not typical. Also getting this composition is really well done. He's got just like, this was doing a wide shot was a great choice. Because there is interesting stuff going on behind her. I love that wave crashing. I love the sort of layers of background. You've got the rocks in the foreground that are lit up, then you've got the rocks behind her, and you got just the rocks right before the waves crashing, and then the ocean, and then the mountains in the sky. And every part of it there's something going on. It's like there's clouds in the sky, there's action in the ocean, there's a splash on the rocks. And then with all that going on, so choosing a great location, composing her, she's posed great. I love the pose. It's super flattering for her. I would say if there was one, if I'm being nitpicky, I wish she was in a swimsuit rather than in lingerie.
Now, is that what's going on?
Yeah, that's the only thing that kind of bothers me, to be honest.
I wouldn't have even picked that out.
Yeah, I think
that's got the little bow tie in the front.
It's a little, that makes it, to me, a little out of place, but I don't think most people would notice that. By the way, the colors of her outfit are also nicely tied in. So you kind of have a really nice balance of warmth and cool colors within this one shot, which is always flattering.
Yeah, it almost looked like jean material or something to me.
Yeah,
now that you point that out, I can't not see that.
You've got the warm rocks, the warm skin, and then the cool background, which ties in with the cool colored bathing suit. And then the rocks that are kind of between, like the last rocks, the warmth fades out into coolness because those rocks are in the shadows. So it just, I don't know, has a very pleasing...
They've done a really good job, too, of balancing the light here. Yeah. I know so many photographers will darken that ambience so dark.
Yeah.
The strobe is just so bright.
Yeah.
But this is a pretty good balance. I mean, it looks natural.
Yeah.
But, you can still tell it's lit with
I love
flash.
it. I think it's a great image. So
Community gives this a 3.09. I think I actually lean more towards the 4 as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, yesterday we did some shoots where we were using the palm trees and the shadows.
Yeah.
But you didn't do this crazy of a pose, though.
Yeah.
This is called the what? This is one step away from being like the Exorcist crawl.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the backbreaker.
What do you call this one?
That's
the beaten crab? Or
that's right after you got DDT'd.
The DDT.
Okay, I'm ready to rate on this one though. We're poking fun at it, but I actually really like this image a lot.
I'm ready as well. 3, 2, 1, 4 as well.
Let me give this one a 4.
I'm giving this well, I gave it a 3, but you're back-to-back 4s here.
Yeah, these are so far. These are actually my. This is probably my favorite image yet. Maybe followed closely by the last image.
The only thing, I don't want to say the only thing I don't like about this image, but the one thing that kind of bums me out is I feel like my eye keeps going to the background because it's so bright.
I think that the busyness of the shadows bring me into her. Like, and honestly, it's almost like she's like a chameleon in this photo, and that doesn't bother me. I don't think that every photo needs to be. I think shadows can be just as well played as good lighting on the subject, right? So I think this was an amazing use of shadows. I love the color editing. This goes back to what I was just saying that pleases my eye is the warm cool combination. Mm-hmm. You've got the bottom half of the photo is cool, top half or the top 2/3 is very warm, but those colors go nicely together. Obviously these colors have been worked on, but she's got this great bronzy look. I think the pose, remember in the other photo I said the mouth was sealed and it looked tense? Yeah. This one you see her lips parted, the mouth is relaxed.
I love nice. That her teeth are not in the shadow, like just that little bit, and that could have just been a happy mistake. But the fact that
I imagine that those shadows were moving, so they picked. I don't think that was a mistake in choosing probably out of a ton of photos that were shot. I think that was a good choice. I think the pose is just really cool. It's fun, exciting. Look, this shot is not about a model being in her natural element and then making it look like this was just a capture. No, this is a put together shot, and I think it's well put together between. The composition, having her on the edge of the pool, so getting that bit of the pool right in the shot, but also getting the colors behind. I mean, if anything, I would have just said it could have even been cropped a little tighter to just
remove some of the space on the left.
Yeah, so that it was a little more balanced between the pool and the rocks in the back, but. Again, that's like really nitpicking. I just think it's a cool shot. Like this shot, if I was going through somebody's portfolio of, let's say somebody had all the images that we've already seen, and I've got a couple minutes to go through the portfolio, I would just stop on this one and look at it, and just really like.
What's exciting is that they're using the worst time of day to shoot this. I don't know if they had the branch hovering over and this was totally manufactured.
Well, they're just using the lighting they have available to them very well.
But you could tell the shadows are straight down, which means this is like
and
noon.
That's the only time of day you'd get those shadows to be that sharp and strong. So it was well put together as well. Whether it was thought out in advance or somebody said, hey, I see an opportunity here with this lighting to get something cool with this palm that I found over here. I think it's a great shot.
I mean, how many photographers do we know that just would have taken the day off at this time of day?
I would 100%. This shot I would put in my portfolio.
There you go. You can't get much more of a compliment than that. Community gives this a 3.19.
Yeah, I think
they liked it a little bit less than us.
Okay, I'm ready on this one.
You're ready to go, huh?
Let's do it.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Okay. I actually think on this one, I love her pose. I think the model's great. I like the location. And it's just like I give it like a high 2. Just it's the post-production. I think this got way overexposed. I think to go with this sort of soft look where she's just like really chilling, like it would have been cool to just underexpose this a little bit more and bring some color out in her skin. Like her face is almost completely washed out, and I don't think that's always a deal breaker, but just the very kind of calm nature of this shot didn't need to be so in your face with the overexposed lighting.
Yeah.
So this was a post correction.
If you had this raw file and you could pull this down and everything could be salvaged, the highlights and everything, nothing's blown out, do you think this could be a solid 3 just with a reworking in post?
Yeah, I'm actually.
Oh, you're actually in here doing this.
I'm on my iPad.
He's getting fancy over here with the critiques. Lee and I just crop. We're called the crop masters.
Yeah. No,
You're going in here and actually color grading and changing.
Just with this is by no means like a great, but like, I just think now if you hold your screen up to it.
I don't know if they're going to be able to
see
this.
Does that work?
This is
Maybe.
This is an Fstoppers first.
Okay. But yeah, I feel like the color just needed a little vibrance, a little saturation. So that her skin had a little more warmth to it and wasn't so kind of washed out, almost gray, because it's just so overexposed.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I really do love, like when I just look at this image, I'm bummed out a little bit about the highlights and the lack of contrast in here. I
think, and this shows how important the post work is.
Yeah.
Because I think this could have been like a 3.5
mm-hmm.
if I think it was just finessed a little more in post. So
the community gives this one a 2.43. I wonder how much of that rating is for the post as well, because it's a beautiful picture. It's just, I feel like it just needs a little bit of work on the raw.
By the way, maybe this is a good time for a shameless self-plug, but if you're ever interested in my retouching process, I do live retouching on Twitch almost every week at twitch.tv/Joey Wright Photo. So you could follow me on Twitch, turn on notifications, or join my, if you go on my Instagram, I have a little link to join my Telegram group, and then I announce whenever I'm gonna go on live. So I go through my color grading process. It is probably one of the things I do the most on Twitch. So I do color
and it's
grading.
all live. How long are you on there editing? Hours.
Yeah, it'll be 3 to 4 hours each time.
Grab a drink and some popcorn.
Exactly. People, the people that tend to tune in are usually editing photos alongside me. You know, like they're editing photos while I'm playing. You know, I'm on Twitch, and then when they hear something that they, you know, it's like I'm always talking. I'm playing music. It's never a bunch of dead air or stale time. So when they hear something that they're like, oh, I want to know how he did that or what's going on right now, they just kind of glance over and look, you know. And then some people...
Yeah, if you have the dual monitors too, it's great. Just put Joey on one side and do your work on the other.
So, okay, next photo.
We'll also put that link in the description below.
Appreciate it. Okay, I'm ready for this one. You ready to give it a rating?
I think so. 3, 2, 1... 2. Gosh, I don't want to give this a 2, but
yeah, it was very close to a 3.
And I'm trying to think why. I don't know if it's her pose, like sitting on her heels, or it's the lack of just a little punchy light on her face. There's just something. It's because I feel like it's close.
Yeah, it is very close. Okay, I'll tell you what it is for me. It is. I actually really like the pose. I like this tight crop. I like that. You get a little bit of the different pieces of the environment, that there's the sand, you got the rock, the water, this big rock in the background, and then more you get some of the nice blue in the ocean just off to the sides. They didn't lose that, and then the sky. So this again has this nice little warm, cool combination going on in it. I love that. One, I think the white balance is overly warmed. So I think she's going a little nuclear. Yeah. Yeah.
Nuclear or nuclear?
Nuclear.
Nuclear.
She's going nuclear. And yeah, so I think the white balance is a little off. I think
But not by much, right? Are we
not
talking
by much.
like 500 degrees Kelvin lower or something? Like not
exactly. Nothing huge, but yeah, she's gone a little orange, okay? She's gotten trumped out a little bit. Which also makes the sky almost not cool, and it starts to turn the sky into a little bit of a funky color.
Yeah.
Then also, I think what would have been if I got back to this computer or to this image on the computer and I'm working on post, I would have underexposed it so that her chest wasn't so bright. Now then you're gonna say, well then her face would be way too dark. But if you underexposed it, because I think that's one of the problems that like I want my eyes in photos, typically I want them to go to the face first, right? I want them to go to the subject's eyes, face, expression, all that. And then then soak in the pose, the gesture, and then the environment, right? If I had to read a photo, that's sort of the way people tend to naturally do it. This one kind of forces you to stare at her chest first, which I don't think is great for her because she's got a really pretty face. She's got these striking eyes.
She's a great model. Like this is definitely the caliber of person you want in front of your camera.
Right. So I think the easy fix could have been here to just pull it pull down the exposure and post a little bit, maybe like a stop and a half, and then crank up the shadows, recover the shadows in Lightroom or Capture One to just pull out the face a little bit more. And then I think you would have had a nice, it would have been balanced out, but it's just a little overly contrasty with highlights that are like distractingly bright, and then shadows that are a little too much
What do you think of her mouth and eyes? Is she a little blank? Is this a pose that you would
that was
like?
the last thing, is that she looks a little tense in the expression. So the sealed lips, this is a big thing I tell models when I'm working with them. Hey, I want your mouth by default to be relaxed, so the lips part naturally. I see little teeth, because I like to think of the mouth as sort of like the temperature gauge of the expression. It can be either really warm or cold, and lips sealed, right? So I don't want, if I'm shooting a model on the beach, typically the appropriate expression is not upset or angry. It's not upset or angry. And here she looks actually a little upset.
Yeah,
like she's
sad.
pissed off,
Yeah,
hurry up and take the photo kind of. So I think the expression could have been guided a little better. And I know some photographers will say, well, that's the model's fault. That's not the photographer's fault here, so you shouldn't critique against that. I disagree. I think the photographer, you are the mirror to the model. You are their feedback system, and you need to let them know if their expression is off, if their pose is off. You've got to guide them. So if the model was giving me this really stern look, I would say, hey, relax the mouth a little bit, let the lips part, right? And then maybe also when the chin's down a little bit, it gets a little more serious. So, right, you could also just kind of chin up a little bit, and that changes. Yeah. So I think the expression was the other thing that kind of, it's not very warm or inviting. It's sort of like I'm looking at like my angry girlfriend or something. You know what I mean? Like that's the same feeling I get if you kind of come out of the room and somebody's just staring at you a little upset. It's
You're making me take these pictures of the beach.
Yeah, exactly. It's sort of like I feel uncomfortable looking at her.
Yeah.
And then she's angry at me.
Well, the community gives this one a 2.78. They liked it a little bit more than us.
Yeah. Okay.
So next image. This is PDM photography, by the way.
Oh, I didn't notice.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a whole critique on people's
watermarks.
logos. Yeah.
Okay. Let's give this one.
All right. Are you ready?
The old 3,
2,
2, 1, bop.
2.
Okay, 2, 2. Okay, my couple critiques here. I like the candid pose. Okay, so it doesn't look too stiff or forced or anything. Even though, it was like, here, I want you, probably something along the lines of like, here, let's work within these palm leaves. And, it was a nice choice to have those in the shot. I think it would have been really boring to shoot her like, say, 5 feet back and not see the palm leaves, in the foreground. But I think it's more of the editing here that bothers me. So, one, it looks really soft. Like maybe it was over retouched on her face or something, and then the background's like distractingly blown out around her. It's also a little cool. So the last photo I thought was too warm. I think this photo's a little too cool, like almost going where the body looks cold and dead. And then the watermark, I think, is like the stamp of the deal killer.
Stamp of death.
Yeah, it's a stamp of death on there, and unnecessary.
I'm looking at this image, and I just feel like they have a fill light. I don't know if that's a reflector or if it's a strobe.
There's definitely some kind of fill.
I just feel like it's taken all of the cool highlights and shadows out of this image.
Well, who knows? Maybe it was super dark, and it's not.
It's just one.
Okay, I will say, it's funny. There's two things that make me look like this photo is like from the 90s. It's the swimsuit and it's the logo. Because before social media,
the logo,
we needed, everybody had logos because your photo would be printed, and you wanted to make sure that when the 9 people that saw it, they'd know who did it. Now it's not necessary because the main place you're going to get eyeballs and hopefully, back to your work is through social media, where you just get people to tag you and put it below the photo. So it's unnecessary to ugly up your photo with these watermarks nowadays. They
don't want people to steal.
Right, because that would be really tough to just Photoshop that out. But what does that even mean, to steal it? Anyways, so I think that the swimsuit is also a little, I don't know. I don't think it's a cute swimsuit, and I know not many people would even be worried about it, but I think it's a little momish on a very young girl. Yeah, it looks like a mom swimsuit. It's sort of that like.
If you
doctor's office wallpaper pattern
Yeah.
and the bow tie, and it's just, I don't know, it's just a little...
If you had to shoot catalog, you have to shoot this swimsuit.
Right,
This
if you were
isn't
forced to shoot it, yeah.
But it's not the swimsuit that you would probably
I wouldn't
pick.
put it in my portfolio, right.
Yeah.
So, trust me, I do a lot of shoots where, you know, I've got to shoot the swimmer line, and you won't see any of them in my portfolio because the swimmer line is, in my taste, not appealing.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I've had some shameful shoots before where it was like I traveled across the world to shoot an amazing location with beautiful models, and the swimsuits are just tacky. And, you know, yes, I got a paycheck, so cool, but sometimes you take those jobs at a lower rate because you're thinking, okay, this is going to be, yes, it's going to be somewhat of a paycheck, but it's also going to be this great
Portfolio
opportunity to get
building,
these,
right.
you know, photos, amazing photos in this great new location. And then you got to remember, if you are taking a job and doing that little balancing act and weighing out, you know, why you're doing it, make sure that you check out the line and see, because that might make you decide otherwise.
You might
And
raise
say,
the price
like,
back up
I'm not
to-
getting any photos out of this because I'm not going to probably use anything based on what
Yep.
I've seen. And I can't take it as, oh, the location is going to save the photos. That's not true. I mean, this is actually looks like a really cool location, but also because it's kind of blown out. Like, even the colors are really washed out. Like, the blue in the ocean is gray. There is no blue in the sky, really. The sand is kind of a weird off. It's like a yellowy color. So I think the color work, it looks very like Instagram filtered or something. It just looks like the colors just look over processed.
It looks very direct flash to me or something. I just
Man,
feel like
I feel
there's
bad. I feel like we're beating this photo up to shreds.
Well, let's move
but-
on. The community
okay.
gives it a 2.1, which
Okay.
is brutal enough.
Yeah.
So this is image number 12, and you said lucky number 12 is the winner of a tutorial. So
right,
if this
congrats.
is you, go to the link below, check out the tutorials, pick one out, and then give David an email, and he will send one your way.
Okay. Okay. I'm ready to.
We ready to rate?
Let's do it.
All right, 3, 2, 1. You gave this a 2?
Yeah, and honestly, it has nothing to do with the shot. It's about the color.
You don't like this black and white
No,
conversion?
I wish it was in color, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel like it's got this cool silvery look that I like.
Yeah.
I think let me tell you what I think, and then you can blast me away.
Okay.
I love the hard shadows. I think the face looks kind of cool. It's like
Yeah.
the shadows are the longest they could be before they really start to break away, and maybe it's because her face is a little more chiseled and can accept the hard light. I like the black and white conversion. I like the scene. I think my biggest critique is just she looks stiff and the pose looks a little too... It's like the pose is too stiff. Like she's trying too hard.
Okay, I don't think it's necessarily like the most interesting pose. It's, and this is why I think I wish there was color, because I wish there was more information for me to
Decide
sort
if
of
you like the color
enjoy
or
or whatnot. And now I'll tell you that the only time I do color black and white conversion when I'm like shooting at the beach, because usually the beach has beautiful colors.
Yeah.
Right? So I feel like I might be missing out here. Unless sometimes you're in these places where the rocks under the water are kind of algae filled and the water looks green or brown or whatever, and then it's like kind of ugly. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just black and white it, because I think the image holds up enough on its own without the color information.
Yeah.
I don't know if this image is that strong for getting rid of that color and leaving it to just the form and, you know, texture, right? Because that's another thing. Color, losing the color lets you focus a little bit more on, you know, gesture, texture, some of these other aspects of a photo. I don't think there's like this necessarily, you know, amazing or super strong pose or gesture. I don't think there's a ton of interesting texture. Maybe if we were closer to the rocks or something, I don't know. Yeah, I think I feel like I'm missing out on something here, unfortunately. Let me turn my screen. My brightness was way down for some reason. Okay, so yeah.
The previous image is even more.
Yeah, the last image is way more blown out than I thought. So yeah, I think that's it for me. But like, she's very beautiful. I love the lighting angle. Like, she was put in the right spot. I think it's a pretty cool scene, but I think it just lost some life in the conversion to be honest. So it's like a high 2 for me.
When talking about posing,
Uh-huh.
and what drive photographers crazy, does it bother you that you can't see her feet, that her feet go in the ocean or in the river or wherever she is? Or could she be, she may already be on her toes, but like, is that something
it doesn't bother me.
It doesn't bother you?
Nah, that's not a deal breaker. I don't, that's one of those like photographer kind of things that a photographer, like, oh, I don't like her feet are chopped off. No regular, non-photographers can be like, oh my God, did your feet get chopped off?
It's like when you do headshots and you chop off somebody's head a little bit,
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Some people are like, what are you doing?
That's like over nitpicking if you ask me, but I don't hate this image at all. Like I actually like it. I think the model's beautiful. I think it's cool. And black and white also just tends to add a little moodiness to the photo. And I don't know. I kind of wish the mood, I think it drags it down a little bit. I don't know. That's just.
Well, community gives this one a 2.84.
Okay.
Either way, they win a free tutorial. So
yep.
Congratulations. Well, speaking of color.
Okay.
This is in a completely different direction than anything we've seen. Is this swimwear?
I don't know what this is.
Would you wear this to the beach?
I don't know, but I like it. I think it's cool. Like it makes me stare at it. Like I'm not ready to move on. Like I think it's a really interesting. There's a lot of little part. Like my eye is like kind of looking everywhere on here. I'm looking at it. Her hair looks cool. The different colors and combination. I'm almost wondering like, wait, so what colors? It's like there's blue. There's maybe there's an orange light, but then it gets kind of red toward the bottom. There's green. I mean, this is pretty cool. In fact, I'm even just like curious to know what the setup was. This is cool. So from a photography perspective, it's got me intrigued.
It almost has every hue in it. It's like you start down from red and then it goes to orange and then there's like purple and blue and green.
Okay, I'm ready to rate this one.
Roy G. Biv, right?
This is Roy G. Biv to the max.
All right, 3, 2, 1. This is the first 4 that I'm throwing.
Yeah, this one gets a 4 for me.
There was a 4 that you threw that it should have been a 4.
Yeah, the girl lit on the rocks.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is cool. This is a. If I saw this in somebody's portfolio, I'd be like, oh, this dude knows how to light, and or sorry, dude or chick.
Dudette.
Dudette, dude or dudette.
Dude and dudette.
Sorry, I assumed your gender. Photographer person. So yeah, no, I think this is cool. Yeah.
You wouldn't get much of a tan though if you wore this to the beach, right?
No, this is.
Maybe this helps your partner get a tan.
Well, this would have been weird if this was shot at the beach, but this is shot in studio for effect. This is lit for effect. Yeah. This is like something that could have been, I could picture this hanging on some rich dude's wall in his mansion in Miami, right? Or I could picture this being on the website for some fashion designer who makes these, pretty wild looking, outfits. So
have you shot with colored gels or done anything like this?
No, not really. I mean, I'll shoot with gels, but not so much for effect, more to create, to warm parts of the scene. So if anything.
More traditional, like warming.
Yeah, doing like CTO stuff. But I think this was well done. It's like literally like just this perfectly smooth rainbow. There's no like hard transitions in the colors.
Yeah. I wonder how much of this was done in post or it was actually lit this way.
I have a feeling this was mostly done in camera.
It feels that way, but
yeah,
you never know. Community gives this a 2.93. How
looks
crazy
like a blue gel from the front, green from the side, and then an orange, from the right. And where the orange meets the blue, it turns purple, right? Where the blue meets the green, it kind of goes a little teal. So it makes sense that it's probably 3 colors, but they're blended nicely. So the modifiers used were probably fairly soft. They kind of allowed for a little overlap in the colors, which is cool. So I think this was just well approached. And then I like the mysterious look. It almost reminds me of, what's that movie with Bruce Willis and the chick with the short hair? It's like out in space.
Yeah, it's on the tip of my tongue.
Man, somebody's gonna get it. But
the monkey. There's a monkey in it?
No, I don't think so. Monkey movie. But anyways, I like also that her nose just has that little highlight on it. Like you just see a little hint of her face, but it's like you're intrigued and almost wish you could see more. But it works. It's cool. I love it.
Let's move on.
Okay. All right. I see another workshop image.
Really?
Yeah.
This is from your workshop.
This was from my workshop. Yep.
I was going to say this is
because I know if it's the location from the workshop, the model from the workshop, and the swimsuit from the workshop.
You can recognize the wall, huh?
I know that wall. That's Crandon Park.
That little fern.
That's right.
There. All right. Well, you ready to rate this?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. 4?
Give it a 4. I think it's portfolio ready. It's just, I go right to her eyes on this one. And that was what I was saying before, is like, that's to me where I hope people go. You know, I try not to make images where it goes straight to some model's ass or, you know, some distraction in the background or whatever it is. This one takes me right in. The eyes look beautiful. I think the retouching was done. Even using a really wide aperture keeps that focus in the right place, because it's a sexy swimsuit, but this is not necessarily a sexy image.
Yeah.
Right? It was just done really tastefully, and there's clearly a ton of wind, but yet they got this one capture where there was no hair in the eyes, and it was kind of, everything was still working. It's like a little organized chaos happening, you know, with the hair around her, but like yet she's locked into the camera. So the photographer definitely has her very comfortable in front of the lens. And this was, so amongst this windy environment, it's like this little
moment of clarity.
Yeah, it is. And then look at the mouth, nice and relaxed.
Yep.
So she's relaxed.
She's given a killer look to the camera.
I love it.
Like,
that's Zandria, by the way.
It's flirty, but it's not over the top, and it's just like,
I like it.
I guess I just kind of feel like I'd want this, like her right arm to the left isn't doing a whole lot for me, and I don't even know that I need to see that background.
I think that is this nice little hint of where she is. If it was just on a concrete wall, it sort of loses the.
It definitely takes away.
Why is she in a swimsuit, like wearing an alley or something, or like it looks like it could be an underpass or something. But no, just because they left a little slither of the background, of the far background with the palm trees, like you get just a little more read on the environment.
I can see that.
So I think we would have lost something if it was just cropped in like that.
I definitely can see that.
It tells a little bit more about, it gives a little more context to the photo. And I think that is big, especially with models. It's so easy to be like hyper focused on, oh my God, I got a pretty model, I got to just make it all about her. It's like, oh, like tell a little story if you can. You know, there's a little something else for us to read into this photo. And I think this one does it. You know, I think there's the right balance of just enough environment, but it's not like a bunch of unnecessary dead space in the photo.
Really nice black and white conversion.
But I love it. And the black and white, this is a good example of where this expression was so strong that getting rid of the color just lets you really like focus in and appreciate that expression. It's sort of, it takes away all the noise, you know, and just kind of solidifies this little surreal moment. So yeah, I love it. I think it's a great image. This is one of my favorites so far.
Community gives this one a 3.09.
Okay.
At first, I was like, what is going on with the sand she's standing on? But now I see
she's
it's
on
some
a little,
kind of
little ledge.
Yeah, it's like concrete or something up there. What was that, little trash and sand in there?
Yeah. Clean up your beaches. Okay.
Speaking of the beach, though, what is going, like, that's kind of crazy. The far left.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like those buildings are built on a rock or.
I think there's just rocks in front of the buildings, but it's interesting. It's an interesting location, that's for sure. Okay, I'm ready to rate this one.
I am too. 3, 2, 1, 2. We both give this 2. Needs work.
Yeah, this needs a little work.
I don't know if it's just the lighting or the tonal palette.
I like the color processing on this. For sure.
Like I do love those two things.
Yeah, the post work, well done.
Except removing the shoe. Gotta take that.
Well, the garbage right in front of the shoe, whatever that is. But the sandal's a little distracting. It's not necessary to help tell the story. Like, she kicked off her sandals here and she's standing here. It's just get rid of it. And then it's kind of this sort of perfect straight pose, and it's just almost centered, but it's not really. Like, she's just a little left. And whenever I have a model looking out, you know, to the outside of the photo, I prefer, if I'm going to leave a little extra negative space, I want it to be on the side that she's facing. So that she's not kind of up against the wall of the photo. Now, I'm not saying that it's that extreme here, but it could have been a little better centered, because there's almost sort of this perfect composition, but it's like just off. And then I think it just looks, the pose looks a little stiff if you ask me. She's got yeah, it's
something about where her feet and like maybe her knees touching, like the lower part of her legs look very uncomfortable to me.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
It's got this like
it doesn't look like she's walking. It's like
pigeon walk thing or something. It's
like that would be uncomfortable to hold. You know, it's like she got up for 2 seconds and he got that photo, but it doesn't look natural or relaxed. Yet she's in this very natural environment. It's natural lighting, and then I think also the hair is a little sloppy, like it, which is not a problem. We just looked at shots where hair's flying all over the place, but what I mean is, it's kind of making her forehead look a little bigger, right? The way it's sort of pulled back to the side, and if I'm shooting an overhead light like this, I don't want the model's forehead to be highlighted. So I would say that if the hair was maybe pulled a little more over from the other side to kind of cut across the head, it would have left more face and less forehead. You know, and then there's that hair that's kind of like blocking the face and on the chin. I don't know, that just like, it's a little messy up front. Like it's messy in the wrong.
The bottom looks great.
Yeah, it's messy in the wrong places.
Right.
Like the other photos, there was wind blowing hair around everywhere, but around the face,
it was clear.
Yeah, everything was nice, and it wasn't pulled back and showing like all the forehead and, you know, and then yet covering most of the rest of the face and leaving a big chunk kind of open. So watch hair. That's something I'm constantly like, hey, let's give your hair a fresh flip. Let's throw your hair back. Hey, just swipe your hand through your hair. I'm constantly giving little guidance on hair moves throughout a shoot. So that's why I would point that out, because to me it's important and something that I am constantly battling. So it's
how do you feel about the sand and the composition? Do you like, we had one shot where the sand was too much, but do you feel like this vertical shot, it works, or
it's okay? Yeah, it doesn't bother me. I think the location is way more interesting than the other shot. I like that instead of a bunch of tire tracks to the sand, you see a lot of little footprints to the sand. So it gives you this idea. It's that she's on a beach that's not like crowded with people, but people kind of stroll up and down it, and so again, there's a little context to where she is, like what kind of location. It's not some super tourist trap beach, with people everywhere, because like they got a moment where nobody was there, but you could see there was some life moving throughout this scene. I think it's a cool location. I like the color. I love the colors. I just think that the pose is a little stiff, a little awkward with the feet. And the hair's a little sloppy in the wrong place. It was like really close to a 3.
You can also tell here, just looking at it, there's definitely some sort of light source or reflector on the right side,
there
giving
may
the
be
highlight.
There may be a little fill light. So there's some fill happening. There's either a little strobe just popping a little fill on her, or there's a reflector that's kind of pumping up from the right side. Right, yeah.
Well, community gives this one a 2.63.
Okay. Yeah,
Next
I think
image.
That's fair. Ooh. Okay, I'm ready to rate this one.
You're ready? That quick?
Yep.
I think I'm
Instincts.
ready.
Come on, ready, go.
3, 2, 1. I know what you're doing. I know you're going for.
I love this shot.
I think again, it goes to the crop. I don't think I need all that information on the top. I think I want to make it a little bit more about her.
So
especially if I'm looking at a portfolio and scrolling through images.
The reason I agree, I actually kind of agree. Like I think this a little cropped in would have been a little better.
Yeah.
But because the 4 is about, could this be in the portfolio? If the portfolio is loaded with a bunch of tight images, then I wouldn't have a problem with this one. I think it would be nice to have some breathing room in a shot. So I'm okay with these shots where there's a little. If it was all blown out sky, and it was just so heavy to
had no information at all.
Yeah, then yeah, I would say like, okay, we don't need it. But I like that the photographer chose to show these sort of like layers of depth in this scene, that this kind of goes off into the distance, and where the light's coming from, like it's I don't know, it's got a cool, and then the toning of it, I like. It's like sepia done right. It's not.
It's like they've done that sepia tone and then they pulled it to like 80% or something.
Or less, yeah. But
there's just something that's coming through.
There's a little bit of color. It's very muted. There's like almost a little bit of purplish.
Yeah, what color is her swimsuit?
I don't know. It could be
registers
pink.
Like a pink.
Yeah,
right?
It could be like, yeah, exactly. There's a little.
It's kind of cool how maybe that's not the color, but it feels like there's color there, and her lips also have like a red, rosy hue.
Yeah. I like it. I think it's a cool shot. I think her expression and her pose is just so relaxed and like not your typical model in a swimsuit all posed, you know, for the camera. It's like, man, that was a good, I don't know if that was her or the photographer directing, but it just was well, you know, well captured. And,
one thing I don't think I've ever asked you about in all the times we've worked together, what is your impression of like jewelry? Have we seen any real jewelry in any of these pictures? Like, I think it works here.
Yeah,
but
I think it's that having a little accessory is fine. Because she's got a little makeup, you know, going on, so she's got a little bit of a cute look, but it's not like overkill for being out in some natural environment. It's like, hey, I'm going out. It's almost like, gosh, it's almost like you pulled up to the shore of some island, and this is like one of the locals that greeted you. You know,
it makes it feel a little more real. Like if you were just doing a fashion shoot, you probably wouldn't wear jewelry, but this might be like her little keepsake or something.
I guess either way, it just doesn't. It doesn't
take away or
it doesn't take away or distract or you know, it's fine. It's not a. I don't really notice it, which is good. I think that's a cool part about having accessories is that they're in there, but they're just an afterthought in the photo. It's not screaming for attention. So,
well, let's go.
Love her expression though. Like this was just the pose, the lighting. Yeah, the angle. If her head went up, it would have changed the whole lighting, you know, angle on her face. So I love that she was sort of had that split lighting on her because of the angle of her face. You know, it went parallel to the light that was coming in here. So.
If her head had been straight up,
it would have been
a highlight on her hair. Or something,
or all forehead. You know,
Well, community gives a rating of 3.14 on that one.
Yeah.
We have a few more left in this critique. Oh, this is a very different shot. You ever shot underwater? Yeah. Do you have underwater housing?
I don't have no, I don't have a housing.
With all this crazy stuff in here,
I've played with it before, but no, I don't. That's not something anyone's ever hired me to do.
Yeah, you don't have any interest in.
I do actually. I'm getting my scuba certification. Well,
finally, goodness.
Yeah, well, I started the process 2 years ago. I just have to take the little online test thing. But anyways, okay. I think I'm ready for this one.
I am too.
By the way, how many more do we have?
Like 5 more.
Okay.
Exactly 5 more. 3, 2, 1, 2.
I give this like a low 2.
I want to like this just because it's different and it's.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know what this would be for. Like a news article about the swim team or something. You know, it doesn't excite. It's not a. I don't know. It's not a very exciting image. It's more like it looks like a stock photo. And I wouldn't consider many stock photos to be, you know, that exciting or interesting or portfolio worthy, you know.
It feels more photojournalistic. And I have to say, if that's what your portfolio is, because we just said swimwear.
Yeah.
We didn't say it needed to be like commercial swimwear.
Okay.
If you're shooting for the Olympics or something, or that's your goal,
I
don't think this is done to a high enough quality for that.
Right, that's what I would say.
But for a commerce or for fashion or something, I don't feel like it fits that either. I was just down here at what's the main road you guys have in Miami? With
Collins?
Lincoln Road.
Okay, yeah.
And they had this display for Garmin, and they had an image of a girl who was kind of like in a one-piece swimsuit.
Okay.
And I think it's promoting their new watch, the Garmin watch, and it is unbelievable. I wish I could find this image to show, but it's like gelled. It's like a very styled image.
Yeah.
That image to me is like
right,
a 5.
because I've seen some really cool stuff done underwater, and this one just doesn't excite me that much. It just seems
I
like.
I also don't like that the bubbles are coming out of her nose, and I mean, there's probably a lot of things to critique about this image.
It almost is like if everyone had an underwater housing, it could be a snapshot.
Yeah.
You know, like this could have looks like it could have been taken with an iPhone. You know, that's waterproof, right?
Well,
so
they now are.
Yeah, right. That's what I mean. Like a newer iPhone, I feel like this could, because it's not super sharp. I don't necessarily love the coloring. It's so busy with the. I don't know. It just there's nothing wrong with it. Whatever. I don't know what the usage was. You know,
what do you think
intended.
of the right leg? Like I didn't notice it, but now that I did, I can't stop. It's like
a cantaloupe.
You just can't see her full leg.
A squash. It looks like a yellow squash.
Yeah, like it's
right?
got that same shape.
Yeah, a Mr. Potato Head. Upside down Mr. Potato Head.
Perhaps if you have,
but yeah, it's.
You should leave a comment below
it's like
on what
stiff,
that looks like.
The arm's stiff. Like I don't know. Just I guess I've seen. I'm not the expert in critiquing underwater swim photos, but I know I've seen some stuff that's been like, wow, holy shit, how did they do that? This one doesn't.
This is not the ad Speedo is going to be using for their
probably
next
not
campaign.
Probably not.
Well, community gives this one a 2.93, almost
okay.
portfolio worthy. Interesting. All right, we are back to the gelled look. It's very different than anything we've seen.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like, is this swimwear or like cosplay?
I don't know. It's something in between. It's a hybrid.
And what is this background? Wonder if that's real or if that's like created in post or something.
Yeah, I'm a little confused, but I like it. I mean, it's cool. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and
rate it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm ready. 3, 2, 1, 3. I give it 3 as well. I think it's a little too strange to like be a 4 or a 5. Maybe it could be. I just don't know that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's like it's all about her back side, and then it's the Spider-Man costume.
And the zipper and the.
Where's the zipper? Oh.
Top of the neck.
Well, would you clone that out? Does that bother you?
Yeah, kind of. I would have got rid of that whole zipper line.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think it's a cool, interesting shot. It makes me, you know, like you see it and you want to stare. You don't want to just swipe past it.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely a nice use of this sort of, I don't know what's this lighting is. I don't know what's going on in the background.
Yeah, the background's
I don't know where she is.
I almost want the key light not to be so white or bluish. Like
Ella likes it.
If it's blue, I'd love it to be maybe a little more blue, like gelled blue.
Yeah. Ella, what do you think? She's interested.
Your cat loves this image.
Yeah.
In fact, this is the only image that she's
allowed to
stop dead in her tracks.
She gave it a 6 with her extra paw.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we're not going on.
Okay.
Ella's rating.
No, we can't. So yeah, this is a 3 to me. That like I think for somebody's portfolio, it's a cool shot. It's definitely an attention grabber. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a little bizarre, you know.
Well, I keep thinking about this image and the crazy background, and I keep thinking if you took the Spider-Man swimsuit out and just put any other swimsuit, would this now be some really cool, edgy swimwear ad?
I don't know. Or would that? I don't know.
I almost feel like because it's the Spider-Man
Yeah, it's hard
thing,
to tell what this would even be for.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Everyone here on our channel knows I don't really like the cosplay thing.
Yeah, I'm not into it either.
If you shot movie posters for Spider-Man, then by all means you should have that in your portfolio. But when you have like the Spider-Man logo and the styling, but you're not shooting for Marvel, it just, to me, it feels like cheaper, or it feels out of place.
There's what I would call a little bit of an identity crisis going on here. It's like a glamour photo mixed with a cosplay photo mixed with some really hyped up kind of
gel lighting,
gel
sort of
effect, setting. I don't know. There's just a lot going on. But again, it's interesting. The model's really cute. The retouching is nice. I don't have any massive gripes. I'm not like into this style, I guess. But if you
had a whole portfolio of this kind of stuff, you would
cool.
definitely grab someone's attention.
Yeah, for sure. It's unique too.
Yeah.
I also give them that. I mean, it's not something I would have come up with.
Well, community gives this a 3.23.
Okay.
We're down to 2 more images.
Okay. She went. This one went. She just got done lettuce shopping.
Yeah, is that bib or is that?
I think that's butter lettuce.
Butter lettuce.
You know, that's the kind we had last night that you wrap.
Oh, the meat in.
Yeah.
You make a little taco. Chef recommends making a taco.
Yeah. It's taco lettuce, I think.
I thought the chef wanted us to have salad and then the meat on its own. We ate at this incredible restaurant last night, KYU.
Yeah.
If you're in the Wynwood area, definitely got to go check that out.
I haven't eaten yet, and I still feel full.
All right, you ready to rate this?
Yep.
3, 2, 1. 2 stars.
Yeah, give it 2.
What in the world? Why is she holding this bouquet of flowers? This seems really strange.
It's a little like, not sure what the point of the prop was. Did she just receive this from? I don't know. It's not. There's a prop, but it's kind of random. And then she's. I don't know.
It almost gives me the vibe like she's on a bachelorette party. Maybe she's the bride, and they gave her flowers, and she's in the swimsuit.
Maybe.
Just something. It's so
a little. It's
off.
a little confusing. Yeah, it doesn't. It's like it attempted to tell a story, but it's a strange story.
Yeah.
You know.
And then also, it's got this vibe where the way she's looking off camera, it almost feels like you weren't the main photographer there, and this photographer probably was. Because of the composition and everything, but it's just there's so much energy going up and off to the camera that it doesn't feel like a candid off-camera laugh. It feels like somebody else has her attention, and I think it's a little unsettling, or it just leaves you with more questions than answers.
Yeah, like maybe her boyfriend was just joking around like, hey bitch, catch, and then threw it at her, and then she's like, ha, you idiot, and then like she's kind of laughing, but she's,
and then that's the one picture from the whole shoot that you kept.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, and then also retouching wise, she's got little bruises on her leg that I think could have been cleaned up. You know, there's just little, the
lighting on her face isn't great.
Her little earring hole, the piercing hole in her ear could be gone. There's just little, so it's not really cleaned up. The lighting's kind of flat in the background. There's this massive shadow cutting across her body that could have probably been adjusted if she just moved
forward just a little
bit. Hair. Yeah, I don't know. It's just not, it doesn't seem like it's not a snapshot, but it's not a portfolio image.
Yeah.
So I think a 2 is a fair rating. What did?
And I know I gave it a 2 as well. I know we talked a lot yesterday, but I've also said this in a recent video that I think we're about to release. Shooting at the beach. So many times people wanted to shoot the ocean. Maybe you even did this yesterday. I didn't see your final image, but sometimes the ocean, especially this time of day, it's so boring because it's just a line, and you get 2 tones of blue. But shooting in any other direction might have had a more interesting scene. Yeah,
or part of what's boring about the ocean in this shot is that it's got no color, no life to it. So it's just really dull and muted. And I think if they used a little selective coloring in Photoshop or in Lightroom or Capture One, and then just pulled the blues out and really kind of saturated them, gave them a little life, I think that would have been, it would have improved it. But again, it wouldn't. I think there's enough little things kind of going on that sort of keep this thing from getting to a 3. So I'm not in love.
Well, the community gives this one a 2.31, and this is our final image of our swimwear critique. And this is like different in that this is kind of like a cover up, or
I mean, I wouldn't even put this as swimwear. This looks like a dress, but okay, we can rate it.
Are they at a beach, or are they at the desert, or in the mountains?
I think it's a dress in the desert, to be honest.
Okay, how did that slip through the cracks?
Not sure, but let's rate it. We're here.
We are here.
Fuck it.
And she's here.
She's here. You're here.
And you're here, so we might as well throw a number. 3, 2, 1. 3s?
Yeah.
This is a cool shot.
I like it. She's a beautiful model. The styling is cool. I like the little prop. You know, it was sort of well put together. And her makeup is great. It's not over the top. It's light. I love the tone. All this is warm tone in the photo. There's a little bit of cool tone in the back on the far background, the mountain range or whatever is back there. So it's an interesting location. The elbow at the camera is a little. I wish like. I don't know if she was moving or she posed, but if she was moving, her arm probably would have moved, and I would have maybe preferred it when her arm would go a little more in, so you see not the kind of the
elbow, but you see the
arm looks big, like pointing at the camera like that. Whereas if it was a little more of the side of the arm, I think that would have been nicer. But whatever, it's not a deal breaker. I think the lighting's really nice. I love her hair, looks awesome. I like the little edge of lighting on her nose. It's subtle. Everything's subtle. Nothing's in your face about this photo. It's just clean, you know. But it's not a mind blower, you know. It's not a 4 in that sense.
Yeah.
But it's a nice, clean shot. Like this would be a great photo that could go on the website for this, you know, whoever makes this dress, you know. And I think it would serve well as that.
The location, the model, even the outfit itself, it brings a lot of production value to where this feels like an experienced photographer with a...
Yeah, somebody put some effort into the shot.
Right.
For sure.
I keep trying to crop it in some way because I'm never a big fan of having the model straight in the middle of the frame. Would you make a vertical again?
I think I would maybe go... I think I might go vertical on this one. Something like that.
Yeah, I keep trying to cut off something.
It depends on the use. I don't, you know, the background's a little boring. There's a lot of the background, but it could be great for like what you just did, where you cropped it in and then left some negative space just off to her right.
The problem is all those cool mountains in the very far back are off to the far sides, which would be the areas I tend to be cropping out.
Exactly. I like the cool colored mountains in the background.
I'm just not a big fan of putting your subject matter right in the middle.
Yeah, it's a little forced, right? Because it's a very natural pose. Like everything was just sort of had a nice little organic feel to it, and then but the composition is a little forced.
Yeah.
So, but again, not a deal breaker at all. And I think if there's one area that you slipped in a photo and it's the cropping, so what?
That's the easiest fix.
Exactly. So the important things were hit here, and I think, you know, look, her expression is very relaxed. Her pose is very natural. Like there's actually movement to it. It's got a calming vibe to it.
Well, community gives this one a 3.03. That is our final image.
Okay.
So I appreciate you guys sitting through this one, and I hope that you got something out of Joey. Your critiques are always good. It's nice to have a true professional who does this day in and day out. Look at these images.
I do have to look at a lot of images.
Yeah, we're about to go look at a bunch now, but
I also do some critiques on my Twitch.
Okay.
Sometimes that's another thing I do. I have people submit images to my Twitch, and I'll do live critiques. And the cool thing is, they're actually on there chatting with me, and if they want to sort of acknowledge that this was mine, or if they want to stay anonymous, they can do that as well. But cool. This was a good set of images. You know, and I think this set had a lot of variety. It let us tap on a lot of different little issues with photos and
stuff that happens all the time.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'll put your link to your Twitch down below, and if you guys want to submit to the next critique community, the theme is wet. So interpret that how you will.
Oh,
that is the microwave. So dinner is done.
Dinner is about to be served.
Yeah, so we got to get out of here, but head over to fstoppers.com to check out the next critique community. Also go to fstoppers.com/store to check out our full-length tutorials and Joey's full-length swimwear tutorial.
That's right.
All right, let's get out of here.